Welcome back, everybody, to the Cleveland Cavaliers My NBA series here on the Next Gen. Before we start today's video, I'd like to have a special announcement real quick that I think you guys are really going to like. So obviously we are nearing the end of the regular season here in season number 3 of our Cavaliers, and although we have not clinched the postseason yet, it is pretty much a foregone conclusion that we will make it. So this will be the last regular season episode, and what I've decided to do this Friday here on YouTube, I will live stream games 1 and 2 of the first round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. So you will be able to watch those games live, connect with me and other subscribers in the chat, and I think it could be a lot of fun streaming our very first playoff games in this series. So I hope you guys are really excited for that because I think it's going to be a lot of fun. If we don't make the playoffs, I'll stream something else on Friday, but we will make the playoffs. So there you go. Before we actually get to the final stages of a regular season here with our Cavaliers, I do have a prospect profile for you guys. We're going to be going over the power forwards and centers in this year's draft class. This is a very interesting class at the power forward and center positions, and I'm very excited to share some of these players with you guys here today. We're in a very interesting position with our big men because we don't have a lot. Most of our team is obviously composed of wings. You guys know I like to build mainly with wings. We only have one power forward on the roster, that being Nasir Little, who has pretty much been a full-time starter since we traded for him earlier in the year. I know his numbers aren't great, but I really like the defensive value he brings to the table for us. He is a free agent at the end of the year, though, and I don't know if I want to bring him back. Plus, he's only 6'5". At center, it's quite interesting. We have Akapi Adioye and Yusuf Diafafa-Fobo, both of whom have shown flashes of being our long-term center, but I'm not convinced that either one of them are. So power forward and center, it could certainly be a pair of positions that the Cavs look heavily at in this year's draft. Let's start with the centers first. This is Christian Oregbu from the University of Maryland. Oregbu has improved massively throughout his Maryland career, and now as a junior, he's one of the top big men in the country and has been one of the most important players on one of the best teams in the nation. Taking a deeper look at Oregbu, he's a very intriguing prospect, 7'9" wingspan. He has extremely long arms. He has an incredible motor. He really brings high intensity and effort in every play. Still has a lot of work to do on offense. He doesn't really provide a whole lot outside the paint, and he does have some medical question marks, which is a little bit concerning. The next center we're going to look at is probably the first center off the board. This is Josiah Hutchinson from Hillcrest Prep in Arizona. Hutchinson was a projected top 5 pick before the year started, and although he should still go in the lottery, his stock has dipped a little bit. He's very skilled offensively in the post. He has a lot of similarities to Voshon Williams-Garber, who was a top 5 pick last year of the 76ers, and Williams-Garber had a tremendous rookie season. He's a phenomenal shot blocker, and he's a great athlete, but he's not much of a shooter or a playmaker. A lot of that really does describe Voshon Williams-Garber of the 76ers perfectly, so if he plays like Williams-Garber, then he'll be a stud. One of the more intriguing international players in this year's draft class is Mukunyi Bombo from the Congo. He is currently playing out in Europe at the moment for Anadolu Efes. This is the same place that Yusuf Diafafa-Fobo played before he was drafted to the NBA. I don't think Bombo is quite the prospect as Big Fafa, but I do think he's very intriguing. He has super long arms, he's a good interior defender, and he's very athletic. He is raw on offense, though, and he is new to the game, so I don't think he's going to really be a high-level rotation player early on, but I do like his potential. Someone who I do think will be a high-level rotation player early in his NBA career is Hamidi Ogurigie from the University of Texas. He's a very skilled offensive player. He shoots the ball well. He can drive inside and makes a lot of plays in the post. He's a good shot blocker as well, and as I mentioned, he's extremely polished. He's already 22 years old, and he doesn't have great athleticism, which hurts his ceiling, but I think Ogurigie is a very high-floor player, and I think for a team like the Cavs who could use some more depth in the front court, they should really look at him towards the latter part of the first round. Let's take a look at the power forwards now, starting with Raekwon Murphy out of Illinois. Murphy's a twig. Stands at around 6'8", weighing in a little bit less than 190 pounds, but I think despite his size, a lot of his strengths and weaknesses are catered towards players with bigger frames, which is odd. He's a good interior defender, he has good post moves, and he does provide a pretty solid jump shot, but he's not a great athlete, and he doesn't have a ton of defensive versatility. So I think if you can really bulk him up, I think if he becomes stronger and tougher, I think he could be really good. Someone who should fall into the Cavs' range towards the later part of the first round is Natuku Amabo-Kiera from UCLA. Amabo-Kiera is very raw. He's another guy who I don't think will be a great NBA player early on, but I think he has the elite upside and elite athleticism. He's actually quite a good scorer. He's good at driving to the basket, and he is improving on his jump shot. Compared to the other big men in this class, he doesn't have overly long arms. 6'11" wingspan, while standing in at 6'8", really isn't bad, but compared to the other bigs in this class, I mean, some of these guys have extremely long arms, and Amabo-Kiera just doesn't. One of the most interesting players in this class, a high schooler. This is Mercedes Ranch III from Sierra Canyon. Ranch is currently projected to be a top 5 selection, obviously known for the yellow hair, one of the brightest personalities off the court, and on the court, he's extremely gifted. Phenomenal athlete, phenomenal scorer, and he does possess good size, 6'10", 233 with a 7'4" wingspan. His defense is shaky, and one of the things that does concern me is his motor and his stamina. Both of those are a little bit concerning. It's hard to tell if he really wants it on defense, but if he wants to be a great pro, I think he will. He's also getting a better feel to the game of basketball. The final player we're going to be looking at might be the most interesting one, another guy projected to go in the top 5 or 10. This is Scotty Eggleston from England. He is currently playing out in Turkey, I believe, for Fenerbahce. I know I totally butchered that team's name. But Eggleston is very interesting. He's 6'6", which is a little bit undersized for a power forward, standing in at 171 pounds. Yeah, this guy is built like a twig. He's very slim, and he doesn't possess a lot of strength, obviously, which hurts him as a rebounder, but other than that, he's very interesting. He is arguably the best three-point shooter in this class. I mean, he's an absolute flamethrower from beyond the arc. He's a really good defender on the perimeter and inside, and he's had a phenomenal year overseas. He looked like probably a second-round pick at the beginning of the year, and now he has a legit shot of going into the top 5. So that will conclude today's prospect profile. Now it's time to focus on the NBA team. The Cavs have 11 games left in the year. We are currently 43-28. Although the Cavs have not clinched for postseason, as I said, it would take an absolute miracle for them not to. If the Cavs do stay at 3, I would say the Pistons, Hornets, and Magic are probably the most likely teams that the Cavs would face off in round 1. Here's a look at the West. That playoff race towards the bottom looks really, really close. So I think we're kind of lucky we don't have to worry about being one of those teams. Here's a look at the stats. Not a ton of changes here with the stats, which isn't really a huge surprise. Odavius Shepard's points are now up to 22 per game. Shepard has been incredibly good since the All-Star break. Obviously, he was great before the All-Star break. He made the All-Star team as a rookie, but, I mean, he's been great ever since then. So we're going to start with some simulating. We're going to simulate these first 3 games here, and the magic number right now for us is 4. So that's why I'm choosing to simulate these first 3 games, and we win 2 of them. We beat the Pistons by 4 in overtime. This one looks like it was a very close game. Sexton and Shepard combined for 65. We lose to the Blazers, and we beat the Warriors. So that brings us to this Dallas game. Now at 45-29, the magic number is now 2. The Wizards are the team we have to watch out for currently because they are the 9th seed. So we're going to simulate this game against Dallas. It should be a tough matchup. Obviously, they're a very solid Western Conference team, and we end up winning that game. The Hawks have now clinched, and our magic number is 1. We have to win one of our next, 8 more games left, and the Pistons have to lose at least 1 more because they are now the 9th seed. Our next game, which can send us into the playoffs, is against the 13-win Toronto Raptors. Remember, we beat them by 74 earlier in the season, which is the biggest deficit in an NBA game in NBA history. We also made the most threes in a game in NBA history. So, I mean, we know how to beat these guys down, and they are far and away the worst team in the league. Their roster is just not good. Their 2 best players, Pascal Siakam and Evian Bradley, are both injured and out today. So, I mean, if you don't think things can get worse for Toronto, they're without their 2 best players. So as long as we beat this awful roster, we will officially clinch a playoff spot. It would be pretty embarrassing if the Cavaliers lost to these guys. 46-29, the Raptors now have 14 wins. Would you look at that? 14-61. Shout out Toronto, really building themselves up. The Raptors do not have their first-round pick, by the way. The Pistons own it, so Raptors fans, you can't even get excited about the tank. Regular starters for Cleveland. It'll be Shepard, Sexton, Garrett, Little, and Diafafa-Fobo. For the Toronto Raptors, it'll be former Cavalier Cassius Winston at the point. At the 2, it'll be CJ McCollum, along with Gordon Hayward, Maxi Kleber, and Amari Spellman. Yeah, this team is really bad. So immediately, just seconds into the game, the Cavs win the tip and get a quick Sexton 3. Something tells me this one might be ugly for Toronto. 7-3. Cleveland on top. Spellman blocked at the rim by Big Fafa. Cleveland on the fast break. Sexton again from the same spot. Again for 3. It's good. Colin Sexton with 8 points so far. Cavs looking good early. Now it's 10-7. Raptors going to try to make this one competitive. McCollum inside for Amari Spellman for the two-handed jam. Toronto's going to make this one interesting, or at least attempt to. 13-9. Line 2 from CJ McCollum is good. McCollum was traded from Portland to Toronto in the 3-team trade that sent Nasir Little and a copy of Dioy to the Cavs earlier in the year. Cedric Garrett heaves up a prayer from the top of the key, and it goes down, his first bucket of the game. 16-11 now. Garrett steals it away. Cleveland on the fast break. Big Fafa inside for a Dioy for the slam. The center-to-center connection. Cavs now up by 7. Maybe this game will be a blowout. Reddish inside for the slam. His first bucket off the bench today, and now it's 20-11. McCollum gets the screen from Ibaka, but he loses it. Sexton with the steal. A copy of Dioy again on the fast break, trying to do the Euro step. It's no good, but Garrett is there for a rebound of the putback. 7 points here in the first quarter for the man himself, Cedric Garrett. 22-13 now. Ibaka bobbles it, but gets it back and makes the mid-range shot. 22-15, under a minute to go in the quarter. Reddish, step back, inside for a Dioy, back to Reddish for 3. Killer Cam Reddish from beyond the arc. 25-17 now. McCollum trying to drive inside. He loses it. The Cavs have forced a ton of turnovers on defense. Dioy inside for Kevin Porter Jr., who misses the dunk. But Dioy is there for the rebound of the putback. Very good first quarter off the bench today for Dioy. 3 seconds to go. Cavs trying to get a last-second shot as the layup from Sexton. No good. That'll do it for the first quarter. Cleveland only on pace to win this game by 32. Not quite the 74 or whatever it was when these two teams played earlier in the year. 27-19 your score. Cavs in the second quarter. There's Kevin Porter Jr. with the slam. 29-19 now. Jeremy Lamb loses it. Cleveland's defense doing an incredible job forcing turnovers. Porter inside and 1 for Kevin Porter Jr., who scored all 4 points here in the quarter for the Cavs so far. Porter misses the free throw, but Big Fafa there for rebound of the putback. Good play by Yusuf Diafafa-Fobo. I don't know what Amari Spellman was doing there. 35-21 now. Here's Porter again for 3. No good. But Nasir Little is there for the rebound of the putback. The Cavs are doing a great job of getting turnovers and grabbing rebounds, and that's why they're winning this game by so much. 37-21. There's Maxi Kleber, the German, for 3. 37-24. Here is KPJ, Kevin Porter Jr. for 3. 42-26 now. Winston to an open Amari Spellman. The big guy can shoot it. Spellman, the former national champion of the University of Villanova. I don't know why I had to remind myself of that as a Jayhawk fan. 42-29. Nice 3 by Sexton. Loose ball foul on Nasir Little, but the 3 will still count. 49-30 now. Cleveland up by 19 as Cassius Winston. If a rim is blocked, Cam Reddish says, get that out of here. Reddish on the fast break to the corner for CG. Cedric Garrett in the corner for 3. Cavs up by 22. Garrett now on the drive, gets the finish, and this game is really becoming ugly. Cleveland with a 25-point lead as McCollum will just dribble out the clock. That'll do it for the first half, 55-30. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This Toronto Raptors team is absolutely god-awful. They have 30 points at halftime. That's embarrassing. Cleveland's played a good game. They've avoided mistakes, but the reason why this is such a blowout is because the Raptors are absolutely terrible. 55-32. Odavius Shepard with a quick 3. Only 4 points in the first half for Shepard, but he gets a quick bucket there. 60-32. Garrett trying to drive inside. He gets a nice two-handed slam. Good performance for Garrett. He already has 15 points. And here's Shepard now driving to the rim and 1. Cavs now lead this game by 30. Winston with the foul, 67-38. Big Fafa with it from beyond the arc. Gonna drive inside. He gets the slam. Cavs now the very nice 69 points. Unfortunately, they don't have 69 anymore. 71-42. Fafa inside for Shepard. Over to Cam Reddish from beyond the arc. Cavs back up by 30. 74-42. It's actually a 32-point game. Nice play by Amari Spellman to get the dunk. 74-46. Here's Kevin Porter Jr. for the slam. He has 9 points today. McCollum trying to drive inside. He's blocked by Big Fafa. Shepard with it. He gets it to a wide open Kevin Porter Jr. for 3. Cavs up by 35 now with a minute and a half to go. Reddish, nice floater attempt. No good. He gets his own rebound and gets the and one. Robert Woodard, the former Mississippi State Bulldog, called for the foul. Reddish trying to make it a 38-point lead before the end of the third quarter, but he is unsuccessful. We've got ourselves a blowout here north of the border. 84-48. Cavs up by 36. This game is such a blowout that rather than waste your guys' time, I think we're just going to simcast the rest of this game. It's clear that we have pretty much won this game, so we might as well see what happens here in the sim. Raptors are actually outplaying us here in the fourth quarter. Not that it really matters, and we will end up winning this game only by 28. A little bit disappointing there. We allowed 43 points in the fourth quarter, but there you go. The Cavs have clinched a playoff spot for the first time in the post-LeBron era. McCollum leads the Raptors with 25. We had 4 players score over 20. 22 for Porter, 20 for Shepard, Garrett, and Reddish. Sexton with 16 himself. So, very impressive work here. And your Cleveland Cavaliers will be in the playoffs, which I guess means I can officially announce that there will be a live stream on Friday for games 1 and 2 of the postseason. Now, it looks like a lock we were going to get the 3 seed, but the Bulls are only a game behind us at the 4 seed. So there's a chance we might have to play Brooklyn in the first round. If we do fall down to 4, we're going to simulate past this second Miami Heat game, get to the final week of the year, and we go 1 and 2. So that's unfortunate, and we have now dropped down to 4. So if we stay at 4, we will probably play the Brooklyn Nets in the first round. We're going to simulate these final 3 games. First one against Memphis. Had a good first half, but it looks like we're going to lose by 20. Oof. 143-123. Not a good game by our defense. Now we're playing Brooklyn. This could be a playoff preview, and they beat us 125-120. So as you can see, with both of those losses, we have officially clinched the 4 seed, and the Nets have officially clinched the 5 seed. So there you go. Cavs Nets. In the first round of the postseason, we're going to simulate that final game against Boston, and we win, avoiding a 5-game losing streak going into the postseason. Luka wins MVP. Odavius Shepard wins Rookie of the Year, averaging 22.4 points, 6.4 assists, 5.5 boards on 50% shooting from the field, 40% from 3, 75+% from the free throw line, averaging a steal and a block per game. Odavius Shepard had a phenomenal season, and I mean, this rookie class is so good. Him, Papadopoulos, and Williams-Garber are 3 incredible talents, and none of them went number 1. Jeremiah Okoye was the top pick. He had a solid year, too. So, I mean, Odavius Shepard's our franchise player going forward. I'm so excited that we have him on our team. Although Sean Williams-Garber would have been a good pick at 4, I'm very happy we traded up to get pick 2. Wall, 6th man of the year. Giannis Depoy, Onyeka Okongwu, most improved, and Lloyd Pierce wins coach of the year. I think Lionel Hollins is being a little bit disrespected there. He took the second worst team in the league to the 4 seed in the East. So as you can see, Odavius Shepard makes the All-NBA first team. I did not see this one coming, but I mean, his numbers are really good. Shepard is joined by Luka Doncic, Trae Young, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Karl Anthony Towns. So really good company here. Has anyone made the All-NBA first team as a rookie? I highly doubt it. What a rookie season for Odavius Shepard. 1 year removed from being a high schooler, keep in mind. This guy was in high school a year ago, and now he's on the All-NBA first team. Here's a look at the second team. Zario Papadopoulos is there. So 2 rookies making the All-NBA teams, which is absolutely wild. We had nobody else on the All-NBA teams. We also don't have anybody on the All-Defensive teams, unfortunately. And then, obviously, Odavius Shepard makes the All-Rookie first team. That kind of goes without saying. He's joined by Papadopoulos, Williams-Garber, Bjorgård, and Cameron Bowman. The second team has Okoye, Chambers, Nikolos, and the Smith brothers, Wolf and James. So, there you go. Those are the awards. And as I said, we are the 4 seed playing against the Brooklyn Nets in the first round of the playoffs. So, I'm actually kind of happy we got the 4 seed because I would rather play Boston in the second round than Atlanta. Atlanta scares me way more than the Celtics. I know Boston just won the finals last year, but Atlanta terrifies me. I don't want to have to go up against Trae Young. So the Wizards ended up missing out by about a game, I think. The Heat were not too far behind as well. The Spurs got the 1 seed in the West. Minnesota was in first place all along, and the Spurs, whose best player is John Collins, snuck in late. The Lakers at 45-37, tied with Golden State for the 8 seed, missed the postseason, so LeBron and AD will not be in the playoffs. So obviously, we're playing the Nets in the first round, and I would have not wanted to play Brooklyn. I would have rather played Detroit or Washington or Orlando, but I think this is going to be a really fun matchup nonetheless. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are very intimidating. They're both very good players, and I don't know how we're going to guard them. They have a pretty solid roster around those guys as well. Karis LeVert's a great scorer. They have size with Jarrett Allen and DeAndre Jordan. A few good young players in R.J. Hampton, Christian Oddmarson, Bruce Brown, Landry Shamet, Dario Saric. This is a really, really good roster. I think on paper, you can make the argument that they're a little bit better than us, and we're not playing our best basketball here towards the end of the season. So I think the Nets would probably be favored in this series, but I think we have a great shot to win it. Games 1 and 2 of the first round against Brooklyn will be live this Friday on YouTube. I hope to see you guys at the stream if you can make it. I'm out. Peace.